Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, I'm Gita ardiawantana putri. You can call me Gita. I'm from TBI class, and then today I want to explain about my topic presentation. The topic is instructional strategies for learner difference. In this topic, we have we have 5 subchapter, and then I just present 3 subchapter. First, I explain learning styles, and then the second, mastery learning, and then the third is multiple intelligence. Okay,
Guys, my name is Dwi Styaningsih. Today I would like to present you about the fourth in the field dependence or field independence, and the last about successful language learners or learning strategy. Let's get started.
introduction for this paper. Based on this paper will discuss instructional strategies for learners, difference, and the types of instructional strategies. This paper is presented in the following statements. First, knowing the types of learning style. Second, know about the mastery learning. Third, know about the multiple intelligence. Fourth, know about the characteristic and behavior field dependent or field dependent learners. And then the last, now about the characteristic successful language learners or learning strategies. Okay, let's start for the first sub chapter in this topic. Okay, first, learning styles. This learning style is very commonly used in the learning process for students. Learning styles can also be referred to as the ways, habits, and processes of a person in understanding the lesson. Uh, each teacher will also provide different learning styles to their students. This is so that students can choose a learning style that suits their abilities. And then there are many definitions of learning style according to experts in several journals, one which is quoted from Opinion the Porter Reader and Singer Norrie, 1999, 84 until 86. According to him, learning style consists of 3 types, namely visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Okay, first, visual learning style. This visual learning style is an organized, observant, and appearance-oriented learning style. Quoting from a book, those who use this learning style memorize with picture and prefer to read rather than be read aloud. When teachers have handouts to share with students, provide space in them so they can write some notes. Use iconic language in your teaching by adding visual symbols to key concepts in presentation. And then second, auditory learning style. This learning style relies on sound in learning. An excerpt from a book states that this style learner uses music, tone, rhythm, rhyme, or sound. Teaching techniques that can be used for these students are using vocal variation or volume speed in explanation, asking students to repeat key concept, asking students to tell their peers what they have learned, seeking concept important, encourage students to use memories or use music as cues to change activities. And then the last, kinesthetic learning style. This learning style is characterized by the use of touch, standing close, or moving a lot in a book quote. They learn doing by pointing well, reading, and responding physically. They memorize by walking. Okay, second, mastery learning. Mastery learning is a learning strategy that assumes that not all students have poor or weak abilities, and they have the potential to achieve the same mastery in understanding their learning. In other words, mastery learning can be defined as the student's mastery of the time, placement, and the student's abilities. In other words, the teacher provides the same average time opportunity even though students have time difference in mastering the learning topic. Quote from a journal based on the opinion of Bloom, then sketch an outline for the master learning strategy. Some of the basic features of this outline are summarized by MC Nile, 1969, page uh, 308, as follows. The learner must understand the nature of the task he must learn and the procedures he must follow in studying it. The formulation of specific instructional objective for the learning task is important, useful for breaking down a course or subject into small learning units and for testing at the end of each unit. The teacher should be provide feedback about students' specific errors and difficulties after each test. Teacher must find way to change the time it takes for some individual to learn. Providing alternative learning opportunities may be advantageous. Of two or three students meet regularly for an hour to review their test results and to help each other overcome difficulties identified through the test.
C. Multiple intelligence. Everyone has different intelligence. Some have below average and above average intelligence. According to experts quoted in a journal, Binet, in collaboration with Theodore Simon, believed that intelligence was measurable. Sternberg's 1998 argues that people have three independent abilities: analytical or judging, comparing, contrasting, etc., creative about innovating, discovering, imaging, etc., and practical, playing, thinking, and using. And from this, multiple intelligence can be divided into uh, 9 intelligence from some of the opinions of these experts. Namely, the first is about linguistic. Linguistic intelligence is the ability or potential to understand, use, and produce spoken or written language as used in reading, writing, telling stories, memory states, and others. And the second is about logical mathematical intelligence is the ability to understand and use numerical, abstract, and logical reasoning to solve problems. And the next is about spatial intelligence is the ability to represent the spatial world internally in one's mind, such as understanding, modifying, changing, and process visual or spatial images. And then musical intelligence. Uh, this is about the ability to communicate, create, and understand the meaning of sound. And the next is interpersonal intelligence is the ability to recognize, respect, and compare with the feelings, beliefs, and intention of others. And then physical kinesthetic intelligence is the ability to use all or part of the body to solve problems or fashion products, usually used in athletic activities, dancing, acting, and making handicrafts. And then intrapersonal intelligence is the ability to understand, recognize oneself, including emotion, desire, strength, and vulnerabilities. And then, naturalist intelligence. This is the ability to distinguish critical characteristics of the natural environment, usually by distinguishing between plants, animals, rocks, and the world around us. And then, essential intelligence is the ability to use sensitivity to or have the capacity to conceptualize or deal with deeper or larger questions about human existence. Okay, next, D, field dependence or feel independence. Feel dependence or feel independence is a model of learning styles, and both are concepts of tendency. Problem solving is the starting point for perception. Feel dependence tends to prefer inductive learning, and feel independence prefer deductive type of learning. And the next behavioral profiles of feel dependent and feel independent learners. The first feel independence, approach problems analytically, and feel dependent, approach problems in rationally social mode, and then stimulus center, feel independent, and feel dependent, present centered. Feel independent focus is one part of object, but feel dependent focus on global. And then feel independent ability to perceive abstract, and then feel dependent perception of a views or clearly. And the last feel independent long attention or concentration span or not easily distract, and but feel dependent skillful in using interpersonal skill to acquire a structuring image of others. Analyzed about successful language learners or learning strategy by Rubin and Thompson. Learning strategy is an important thing in the field of education. In this, Rubin and Thompson suggest that there are 14 characteristic things for the success of language learners. The first is they have their own learning methods, they organize by they have talents, they experiment creatively with target language, and then actively discover to practice the target language from uncertainty to life, the use of mnemonics, learn from their mistake, apply their language skills. They use context to understand them. They learn to make intelligent guesswork. They learn some lines as a whole. They learn formalized routines, and they learn production techniques and use different style of language. And then, in addition to Rubin and Thompson learning strategies, Brown 2002 proposed 10 strategies and their teaching techniques for good language learners. They are as the first is lower inhibition. The techniques used in the strategy is playing games, do role play, sing song, laugh with the student, and then encourage study taking. The technique is price genuine effort made by student, prioritize fluency and possibility to try language. And then three, from optimist in student. Tactics ask students to list what they have now known or achieved, and then help develop motivation in strict in student. The technique is help students repeat listen. They can know uh, the benefits of learning language and help to tell the job which need English. And then cooperative learning arts. The technique is encourage students' ability to share, avoid individual competition, and then create study group. And then help student processing stuff the right brain. Technique is using video in class, do skimming, and do oral fluency exercise to get students to talk. And 7. Have start ambiguity tolerance. Technique is simply explanation and use native language if necessary. And then the 8, number 8, help students use their intuition. The technique is encourage quizzing, correct only selected errors. And then number 9, students can make mistakes as an evaluation. The technique is students identify their errors, ask them to correct each other. And then the last is invite students to achieve goals. The technique is gives the target direction to go beyond and ask them to list what they want to achieve, get them to have their own time commitment to study at home. And the teachers are recommended to introduce the strategy to their students and inspire them to apply the strategy. The conclusion is from some of the discussion above, starting from learning styles, learning mastery, multiple intelligence, field depends, or field independence, successful language learners or learning strategies are interrelated in instruction. No strategies for different learners. This is very important to help students in learning starting from learning methods and strategies. Okay guys, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.